morning, Melissa.
Good morning. Hi,
And good morning
Sarah.
to your lovely husband. Can you introduce him?
Good morning.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good
okay.
morning. This is Leo, my husband.
Rio?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Rio. So first of all, I just want to say hi and welcome. I'm at the beach today. Nobody knows that, but here I am. And on Saturday, we had the biggest mega clothing swap in Tokyo that we've ever had before. And for those of you who don't know, I'm Sarah Furuya. I run Sarah Furuya Coaching. And one of the things that I do as part of my business, as part of the giving back part of my business, is that I run a massive clothing swap. And the idea of this swap is to keep as much clothing above ground as possible while creating community and highlighting great people doing great things in Tokyo around sustainability, around conscious consumption. And this is when Melissa approached me a couple of weeks ago and asked if she could be one of my speakers. Now, I wouldn't usually just take a cold speaker, but the way she introduced herself and the way that she connected with me, and when I went to her website ciclo.jp is absolutely beautiful and really well done. And it really piqued my interest. And so I actually did invite her. And in the end, we had 4 speakers, which is quite a lot. And so I was really interested to hear her story, because like most people who I know in Tokyo, everybody has a really interesting international story. We have married across cultures. We come from unusual backgrounds ourselves. There's something about us that sparks something to make us want to leave our home country and to come here to Tokyo, which is where we both live at the moment. So these stories of these Tokyo legends, these Tokyo icons, are the stories that I want to bring to you, and to listen and hear and find out if there's something useful or interesting for us in there that can help us to lead a lifestyle and a work style that we can be proud of. So, Melissa, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a bit about your background, where you're from, and your upbringing?
Yeah, of course. So my name's Melissa. Again, I am from Mexico. I was born in Mexico City. From the age of 6, I lived most of my life in the United States. I lived in Oregon State, in the city of Portland, in the west side of the
Oh,
US.
beautiful.
Yeah, so I guess I have like a mixture of backgrounds between, being Mexican and also living most of my whole life in the US. And just a mixture of different cultures in the US, getting to know a lot of different people. Especially when I was very young, I was very attracted to the Asian culture.
Interesting.
Just I guess from being a small child watching the Japanese cartoons, and then as I went through my college years, I got to meet a lot of exchange students at university, and a lot of them came from Japan, and a lot of them were studying in Portland, where I used to live, and they came as exchange students. So just that connection with a lot of Japanese people, I think, kind of gave me the incentive to learn the language and get to know more about the culture. So then after that, I wanted to really try to come abroad and study abroad. And I wanted to look at my options, what would be my options in Japan. So that's when I looked more into my university now, the University of Tsukuba. So I looked it up, I applied, I got a full scholarship to come and study molecular plant biology, which is what I'm doing now. And now I'm in my 4th year, about to graduate and start my next step for my career. So I guess that's how I came about to coming to Japan. I guess it was just out of curiosity, out of wanting to learn another language, another culture, and of course continue my studies in another country. So I guess that's my background. I'm here. I've been here for around 3 years now. And yes, it's definitely it's not an easy process coming into a country and not knowing completely the whole language coming here. But I think it's definitely a good experience to have at least once in your life, to get out of your comfort zone and trying to, you know, meet as many people, connect with as many people as you can, and it just makes you a whole more well-rounded person, I think. So yeah, and as for my husband, so sorry, I have to translate a little because he doesn't know much English, but he's a graphic designer. So we met in Tokyo. Actually, we met through a language exchange app. So I guess I wanted to have more interaction with Japanese people in terms of, you know, increasing my ability to speak it. So at school, it's a little bit difficult because I'm in an international English program. So most of my classmates are English speakers. So I wanted to get to know more people that are Japanese and are willing to, you know, exchange languages. So I met him through that app, and we met in Tokyo, and I guess just things went well. We started going out, and then now we recently got married in April this year.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I guess after meeting each other, I think I was also always interested in the artistic side of things as well. When I was very young, I used to like to do art and things like that. So we thought it would be interesting to kind of combine both of our skills, combine his, you know, graphic design skills and my like biology knowledge, and kind of make something interesting, something new, something that would kind of like bring the attention of different people. But we just didn't know what that thing could be.
Right.
So I guess what kind of brought us to our project Ciclo is we got approached by, I have a friend in Mexico, and she is also very aware. She's also a doctor, and she's also very aware of all the environmental issues currently happening. And she told us her husband is also Japanese, and she wanted to start some kind of business in Japan, connecting Mexico with Japan somehow.
Oh, and wow! So hang on, then we're back to kind of the loop of Mexico.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
so it's like a homecoming.
Yeah, like I really wanted to in a way integrate my culture as well here, kind of
interesting.
Yeah, I think Japanese people are really interested in learning like a lot from people outside of their country. I feel like. So I really wanted to integrate that. If I were to do like my own business or something like that, I think it would be really interesting to kind of bring that into Japan, because I feel like Japanese people are really curious to learn about other cultures as well.
That's brilliant. So I actually just want to revisit that, if I may. So I'm interested to understand more about your transition from Mexico to Portland, and then from Portland to Japan, and what have you learned along the way?
I think, well, when I was in America, I guess I didn't really feel a huge change because I came when I was very young.
Yeah.
And kids just adapt so easily.
Yeah.
But once you're an adult, I think that change is a little bit more difficult to come by. So I really felt that when I came to Japan, there was a lot of struggles. But I think it's all a learning process. And as long as you have a mentality that it's a learning process, that it's something that in the end, it'll make you a better person or a stronger person, or if you ever come by the same type of problems, like you know how to handle them now, because you've experienced it once. So I think if anyone else watching this, if they've ever felt like they've struggled, perhaps if they're living in another country or some kind of problem, to not see it so much as like a problem, but see it more as a learning process, a learning experience.
Amazing.
And from there, kind of take it step by step and just go through the process. And then in the end, try to think of it as like, okay, so what did I learn from this experience that I just
What
went
did I learn from this experience? And that's one of the backbones of coaching, is pulling out the learning of any situation
through.
after the stingers, after the stingers come out of it. What do you
Yeah.
think has been your biggest like challenge and the biggest learning that you took from it?
I think is being really patient and
Yeah.
really, I think I'm kind of a person that like I want to take things head on.
Well, you
But
took me head on, girl.
yeah, so I guess I'm a person that wants to get things done, and I feel kind of frustrated when I can't get things done on my own, especially the language has been kind of a reoccurring issue. I mean, now that my husband, like on a day-to-day basis, we talk in Japanese, but that really has helped me a lot. But I think that was a big struggle for me, that I didn't have that way to get things done or express myself the way I wanted to express myself, just because of the language issue. So I've had to kind of learn to kind of take things easy and kind of be patient with myself as well, and kind of take it more as the whole learning experience. I think that has been the most difficult part for me. But yeah, I'm getting there. I'm trying to overcome these obstacles step by step.
That's brilliant, step by step, and that like taking that patience on, especially because it's not only language, it's all the way things are done, right?
Yes.
So there's quite a lot of cultural differences between the way things are done between the US or my country, the UK, and then Japan. So I've always found it really useful to understand what's going on and what's the benefit and the value of taking things in a much more, you say step by step, but like having these ways and these kata of doing things over here. Sometimes actually the end result comes at the same time, even though it seems like it's taken a lot longer along the way. And then sometimes you just have to take the reins and say, no, we're doing it. And kind of learning how to manage that is something I think it's very useful. But it's not only about culture, is it? It's about personality type. It's about, the way that people do things, the way that people approach work. And I think it's really useful to really understand that. But I love that you said patience is something that you really need to learn. And I've just, in the short time that I've been communicating with you, what I love about you is you're like, I'm a big picture person. So I put an idea out there and then I wait. Right? Where you're like, what date? Can we talk? and I think that's an absolutely brilliant, it's a brilliant balance of things there to understand who's who and what's what, and to be able to get things done in the way that you want to get things done. Not only that, having a great product and having something that looks good and credible and has good information in it, which is what Ciclo does, is really useful as well. So I'd like to ask you now to tell me more about, what was your undergraduate, by the way?
So my undergraduate is molecular
biology. Molecular biology. And how many languages do you speak?
Well, technically I've studied 4. I studied French for 4 years as well. But since I don't speak it anymore, I'm starting to forget. But
so English, French, Spanish, and Japanese.
Yeah.
Wow. Your husband looks impressed too. That's great. So then you went from molecular biology and now you're studying, what is it?
So I'm focused more on plants.
Yeah.
Before I was studying more like animal based.
Yeah.
Like more biotechnology. So now I'm focusing more in plants.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also studied biology. I studied human psychology and human biology. But ironically, I much preferred plant biology when I was at school and studying it at school. And I didn't think I would. I thought I'd much prefer human biology. So yeah, that was really interesting. So we've got something in common there. But so now let's get into like how Ciclo came about again. So you've got this friend in Mexico. She's also married to a Japanese person, and you started to study plant biology over here. Sorry, it's not plant biology, is it? What is it?
Plant molecular biology.
Plant molecular biology. No, there is a difference. So plant molecular biology. Okay. And so then you start thinking, oh, I want to put this like artistic piece together, and I've met this lovely gentleman here. He's a graphic designer. You've got this sponsor over in Mexico, or somebody's encouraging you, and it all starts coming together. So tell me this story.
Okay. Yeah. So I met this friend in Mexico. She wanted to start some sort of business especially to tackle the issue with plastic pollution, both in Mexico and Japan.
Yeah.
So we had kind of already heard, but there is a company called Biofase in Mexico, and they
say that again.
Biofase.
Biofase.
Mm-hmm.
Biofase. Great.
It's a company in Mexico that has begun making biodegradable plastic from avocado seeds.
Oh, wow.
So the good thing about it is that avocado seeds are a waste, a food waste. We don't consume avocado seeds. But usually biodegradable plastics are made out of corn or sugar, which all these things are consumable.
Crops.
Yeah, they're crops. So that was a good marketing point for this product because it's made out of food waste and we can use it for something else. And moreover, it would represent Mexico because avocados come from Mexico.
Yes.
So we thought, oh, well, this might be a really good marketing point if we brought it to Japan, say, this is a product from Mexico made out of something that comes from Mexico. Mm-hmm. But once we started this whole thing, we wanted to do serious research. Like, okay, so if we brought this thing over, what do we need? How can we start preparing? We did more research on different types of biodegradable plastic, and not all of them are created equal. They're all very variable, and they do market it as being compostable and biodegradable, which is true, but there needs to be optimal temperatures, humidity, things like that. And once we looked into it, these composting facilities are not available in Japan. So once we got more into it, we thought, well, I guess this information, yeah, it's marketed this way, but it's not going to be the same if we bring it to another country.
Right.
And it's just going to end up being the same issue as conventional plastic. So we didn't want people to, again, be kind of like manipulated in a way to think, well, I'm doing the right thing, but actually the producers are not taking full responsibility for their products. So then I told my friend, yeah, I'm sorry, like after looking further into this, I don't think it would be a good idea to bring it to Japan as of now, because there would be no proper way to degrade these products or get rid of these products.
Amazing.
So I guess that's kind of how we got started. Then I thought, well, what can I do to kind of do something about this issue in Japan? If it's not this bioplastic, then what else can I do? And then I thought, well, I think the most important thing is that some of this information is not being told to the consumers, like the bioplastics. Like everyone thinks, well, bioplastics, it's
yes,
but actually it's not. I mean, it's a way there, we're getting there, but it's not 100% gonna be the solution to the problem.
Amazing. So Melisa, what I'm hearing here is really interesting, because this kind of connects back to your story earlier about transitioning from one place to another and things like that. Is, well, first of all, bravo for being so ethical and having such strong integrity. And then secondly, there's this, like, you've taken what could be a problem, like, oh, this business model is not going to happen. But what you've done then is you've taken that problem and turned it into something else. Like, oh, wait a second, people think that this is happening, but actually this is happening. And I think maybe I want to have an information channel for this. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yeah.
Cool. So tell us about Ciclo then, and then this so is this how this was born? Is this
Yeah,
how
so
yes?
exactly. Yeah. So I guess after that, I guess from all the information that I got during that time, I'm like, okay, well, I need to share this. I looked into more what other companies are trying to do. So then we thought, well, okay, well, what if we did an online magazine? I mean, it's easy to do. We don't need any type of investors, money, crowdfunding. We can do this right now,
Yeah.
quickly, and with his help as well. So I guess that's why we decided on this web magazine, because it was the easiest way to kind of get this information out there.
Yeah.
And once we started, I guess I just, again, like I said, I like to take action quickly. So then I started to contact all these companies. When I could, I told them, would it be possible to meet you? We want to feature you on our website. This is what we're trying to do. And a lot of people have been really supportive. And yeah, really with open arms, they'd be like, yeah, sure, we can meet at this time, come to our office. So from there, that even increased more of our knowledge, our own knowledge as well, and just our networking. Our community building has exponentially grown in the last couple of months, which we're really happy about. So yeah, I guess that's what our project is right now. And yeah, we'll see where we can take it. But I guess we're just taking it baby steps right now.
Yeah, and that's another thing you keep saying, step by step, step by step. But one thing I love about this though is it is step by step. And one thing I love about what you and Leo have created here is that and the way that you work is it is step by step, and I think people forget that sometimes. And what you do is you take the steps in the same way that you took the step to contact me and to get the clothes swap and to get exposed to all those people. Is sometimes people forget, they look at the end goal they want and they just see that as one gigantic step that they can't do, and then they get stuck sometimes. So I love this, like one of the takeaways here would just be to take some kind of action. Just take a chance. I could have said no, you know, and that's fine.
Yeah.
And you know, so it's just that kind of breaking things down, being patient but also taking action. Would that be fair?
Exactly, yeah.
Love it. Yeah, go ahead.
And actually, my husband has also been a lot of that support system, because like you
Great.
said, I'm kind of like, I have a goal, I want to do this, but he kind of like brings me back
Yeah.
and kind of tells me like, whoa, okay, like, yeah, that's a good idea, but how can we go about taking it step by step, or what can we do now? So I guess I am kind of a person, like, I want to get things going ASAP, but he's like, okay, well, it's not that easy. We kind of need to slow it down. So in
Great.
a way,
Great.
he's kind of been my other half, where he
Yeah.
kind of brings me back and tells me like, okay, well, let's do this step by step. So in a way, he has been a lot of help, kind of bringing me back to that step by step kind of mentality.
Awesome. And it's
Yeah.
still all happening. So yeah, so tell me then, what's your working relationship? Does Leo have a full-time job and is doing this as part of his, like, doing this in your spare time? Because again, I think a lot of people are frightened about getting overwhelmed time-wise. But I also just would love to hear how you two work together. At the moment, it's just how old is Ciclo? A couple of months?
Yeah, we started in April, so it's
Right,
not.
April. So at the same time as your marriage.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, wow.
Our baby was born.
April, May, June. So it's just 3 months old. And so tell me, how do you work together? So it's very in its infancy at the moment. So it's in that look and see, take the action, look and see. Tell us a little bit about how you and Leo work together. If Leo wants to speak in Japanese, and tell us a little bit about that and why he said yes. And when do you graduate?
I graduated in September.
I see. So then you're hoping to take this on full time, or are you going to try and get a job?
I already have a job.
Oh, wow.
Place. Yeah, I will be starting to work for a pharmaceutical company.
Great.
In Kyushu, so I have to move to Kyushu. So that's also
Which part of Kyushu?
Fukuoka.
Fukuoka. Okay. So,
Yes.
That's congratulations. That's awesome. So you will still keep doing ciclo on the side?
Yeah, so that's also why we wanted to do the online web magazine, because even if I start my full-time job, I feel like even on the weekends I can still write some posts.
Yeah.
And since he's a freelance graphic designer, like he could also perhaps meet some of these people. But I guess for now, how our work balance goes, yeah, he's working full time on his own, graphic design work.
Right.
So once the website was all set up, it's easy for me to just kind of go in and just write the posts. So I guess right now I'm kind of doing most of the post writing and things like that. When it comes to translation, I do ask for his help to kind of what I've written in English, if he can translate it in Japanese.
So it's a bilingual site.
It's a bilingual site, because our main purpose is actually to let Japanese people know about this stuff. Because I feel like most Japanese people don't know any of these issues at all compared to like foreign people living in Japan. I feel like foreign people are much more wary or much more aware of these issues.
Yeah, there's always a lot of discussion on Facebook groups about how many plastic bags you get, a plastic bag inside your plastic bag inside your plastic bag, or, I've done this many times. Go to the convenience store, get an onigiri in a bag, walk out, take the outside bag off, put it directly into the into the bin. When I think about that, it's sheer insanity.
Yeah. Actually, Japan is #2 huge plastic user behind the USA. So really? They're #2 in the world. Yeah.
Wow.
And people don't know this. They don't know.
I did not know that.
Yeah. So they're actually #2, right behind the United States. So it's.
I mean, yeah, that's remarkable. And I don't want to Japan bash, because I think actually Japan does make you very mindful about how you're consuming and wasting, because we have to separate our trash up so deliberately. Like there's 5 or 6 different types of trash every week. So it does make you think really hard about what you're doing and how you're consuming. But I did not know that statistic. So that's actually really, really good to know.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that's a brilliant thing I've just learned from doing this. So back to how you two work together. I just want to make a comment here, because I think, again, as well as that, like step-by-step takeaway, I think some people think they've got to do it all, especially when we're starting out with a small business or a side hustle, is like, yeah, with the advent of things like Squarespace or Wix and stuff like that, you can put websites together really quickly. However, outsourcing, which is essentially what you're doing here, outsourcing to your husband to do the good graphic design work, it's beautiful, by the way, nice work, Leo, finding people who you can partner with or purchase from to help you is so important to get things moving in a really professional or really beautiful way. If you only have yourself and you don't have budget for that, fine, just do what you can, but bear that in mind. I think that's really important. So tell us more about your working relationship then.
But he's saying what he's most happy about Ciclo is that he kind of uses it more as a communication tool, especially in his business as well. He kind of says, well, okay, by the way, like we're also doing this web media magazine about sustainability, and he kind of uses it like a business card or like a.
Oh, I love it. So I've just got goosebumps all over my body from that. I've got FBGs, full body goosebumps. It's such a good idea. You're so smart.
In a way, it's our project, but also he can use it for his own business as well, like a portfolio to show his clients. Even though we're not gaining any profit from Ciclo at the moment, he is able to use it for his business as well. Something that we're both proud of that we did, and he can also use it to market his skills as well as kind of start a topic to talk with his clients.
It's so clever, and I love you've mentioned the M word here, marketing. So many people are afraid of that word, and I just think that this is such a brilliant example of how to leverage content that you've made for profit you know, to support his business. And a lot of people, and especially with something like sustainability or you know, green things, there's sometimes this mindset, and in my business as well, like coaching or yoga world or something like that, which is not my business, like people think that they shouldn't be using that for profit. But I say, let's make businesses that are, you call it ciclo, that have this cyclical nature where there's benefit all around. Do you see what I mean? And I really love that he's given that example here, that this amazing you know, ethical site that you've brought to life is also useful for his business, but also sneakily he's able to kind of give this information to his clients as well. So it's like almost educating at the same time. Absolutely brilliant. This is why I love working with millennials, you know. Sorry, I interrupted you. Was there anything else you were going to say there?
Right now, at this moment, we are not monetizing ciclo in any way. We're not gaining any profit. But as we're doing this, as we talk to different people that we've met, we're trying to build ideas in terms of how we would be able to monetize ciclo in the future. As of now, I guess we're just doing this, going for it. As we go, we are trying to learn from people that we meet, or just as we continue researching on our own. His main monetizing point right now is his graphic design business. But in the future, he would like to integrate both ideas. One idea we had was, once we have built ciclo and we've built this community of people following ciclo, perhaps we could have some way where we can do graphic design in the background, I guess, and combine it with ciclo. One idea was like perhaps have like a cafe where he can do his work in the back, like in a small office, and then use the cafe as a meeting space for his clients, and then have like a space where we also introduce ciclo and the concepts behind ciclo and what we're trying to do with ciclo. So that's just a small idea, but still it's not strong enough to start something that can be
not quite yet. Not quite yet, but you've got that vision in your mind, you've got that idea in your mind. And you can then start taking the steps towards it. Fantastic. Well, I've never been to Fukuoka, so I should look forward to coming to your cafe and hiring you to do my web design.
Over there, we're trying to, I think it's also a nice way to kind of see the market over there. I think there's a lot of foreign people over there as well. And I've heard there's a lot of startups.
I've heard it's an up-and-coming city, and you know, of course, Tokyo becomes extremely expensive for small businesses like ourselves. So moving somewhere, lots of people I know are now moving to like Nagano and so on to, you know, have space there. So that's really interesting. Let's start. So I wanted to ask you one more thing about working together. Like, do you enjoy it? Like, it's like, I think one of the keys to working together is you have to have some kind of sense of humor about it, or you have to have some kind of ground rules about it. I know you're newlyweds and also new baby ciclo as well. So how do you keep the relationship going?
Yeah, both of us, like, we don't feel this is a hard-working job. This is something we're both passionate about.
Right.
And it's something that, we enjoy doing. We think it's fun. I really enjoy working with him. I think he completes my other, he's my other half, literally. Like, the skills that I don't have, he has, and the mentality that I don't have, he has. So I feel like, I completely balanced in all aspects. Like,
wonderful.
So we have no problem whatsoever when we're working. Like, sometimes he's like kind of like, oh, I don't know, he doesn't keep things organized sometimes, so like I help him keep things organized, like both in his business and in ciclo as well. So I think we're just really balanced. All the skills that we don't have in ourselves, we have it in each other. So right now we haven't had any problem whatsoever working.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Great. So I love how you're describing, like, he's not very good. It's like, oh, wow, he's such a creative. Yeah. Beautiful, beautiful. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's start to wrap up. So you've got this beautiful website now. Why don't you tell us a couple of the things that you have on there, or the most important messages you're trying to communicate right now? Melissa, please go ahead.
Of course. So right now, what we've been doing is just featuring different businesses, either they're startup or they're small businesses, both in Japan and internationally, that are trying to combat some of these environmental issues, or these environmental issues we're having. One is, for example, two businesses that we mentioned that are in Japan. One is called Just Smile. It's a startup, two women they're still in university, they're university students. They started their own bamboo toothbrush company to spread awareness in Japan, especially about plastic use and how we can make very small changes in our life by just switching to a bamboo toothbrush.
Funny, I'm giving everybody bamboo toothbrushes at the moment. I just got back from Bali, so I'm giving them out as gifts to everybody. So
and another one is Limex. So my business cards are made out of Limex material. So Limex.
What's it called? Say again.
Limex.
Limex. What's Limex?
So Limex is plastic and paper alternatives that use limestone as raw material.
Wow.
So this CEO, he's like 30, in his 30s. He just started this startup company, and he learned about the technique in Taiwan, which they call stone paper. So there's some technique in Taiwan where they use paper made out of some stone material. So he got that idea where, like, wow, we can use stone to make paper as well. So then they went into looking what kind of stone, and they found that it was limestone. So from there, they took the idea to combat the plastic issue in Japan. So this limestone is used to make paper, and paper industry uses a lot of water and a lot of tree resources when making paper. So by using the limestone, they've cut the water usage almost to like none. And of course, they're not using any trees to make the paper. And limestone is readily available all over the world. And Limex states that Japan itself is self-sufficient for limestone. They have a plentiful amount of limestone here.
So those two companies are called Limex and
Just Smile.
Just Smile. When I run out of my Bali toothbrushes, I will purchase from Just Smile. They're beautiful as well. They come in like bamboo cases, don't they?
Yeah, they're very attractive. Like the design is very nice. So I guess we're kind of balancing between kind of big venture with big investors and like a small company. Two young women started the company. It's kind of showcasing all of these different ideas, all of these different people trying to tackle these issues in different ways.
Yeah.
To just, I guess, let people know that these companies are there and they're trying to do this to combat these issues. And if you want to support them, like we always give the links to, well, if you want to buy your bamboo toothbrush, we give the link to their shop, just so people are aware of what's out there and kind of make them think about more consciously about what businesses they're supporting, because I think a lot of the business we are supporting, they're not as environmentally conscious as we would like them to be. So I guess right now we're just featuring these businesses. I would like to also include more information, general information. Like my next blog is going to be about introducing all the different types of plastics. And they're usually numbered 1 through 7. So I want to introduce each type of plastic, what it's called, and like some of the health issues that I myself wasn't aware until I got deeper into researching on my own. And I think most people are not aware of all of these health issues that all these different plastics have on our bodies. So I
Right.
think this information should be told to all the consumers, which we're all consumers of plastic. So some of this information is not clearly stated to the consumers. So
Well, let me know that blog and I will
yeah,
read it.
thank you so much.
So, Melissa, thank you so much. What I'm taking away from this is a lot of just information about plastics, but also that you know, that you can start a small thing on the side. You can start something with your partner, that you can create something wonderful together. Like, you know, he's got the creative smarts and the web design smarts, and you're very organized and action oriented, and you both love are passionate about the content, and that you enjoy working together, and that you balance each other as well. But that this is not something you're looking to monetize right now, but you're seeing what happens in the future, and you're just keeping it going, and you're keeping putting that content in there, and you're keeping bringing that information to people and supporting these businesses, whether they be a large business or a small business, or small things like the swap that I ran. And also that, you know, you also are very smart in terms of getting your job with a company in the future, and that Rio is very smart in leveraging these small business that you have to support his graphic design business. And I just love this kind of portfolio life that you're putting together, and how clear you are about it. And I really hope that our listeners will really take away some great ideas from this. I certainly have. I've absolutely loved talking to you. Thank you so much, Melissa. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed this completely super cross-cultural, super bilingual, interview. I've absolutely loved meeting Melissa and Rio. I'm so inspired by them, and I hope that you will all be inspired as well to create a work style and a lifestyle that you can be proud of. Okay, bye. I'm going to jump in the sea now. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.